Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Christ and TK joining us on this Monday over at Court Street Cafe in beautiful downtown Port Allen. I'm at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And as always, everything we do on Sports Shorts Radio, Sports Shorts Daily, is presented by LeBear's Casino, the best casino in the state of Louisiana. Best place to watch the national championship game tonight at the LeBear's Sportsbook. Check it out. Got the big lazy boy sofas. You could be chairs. You could be playing blackjack. You can watching the games. You're steps away from the sports book. You got the kiosks everywhere. TVs all over. Great food. Go to the LeBear's Sportsbook tonight if you're looking to try to have a fun atmosphere to watch the national championship game. We'll get into the Natty at a little bit later on with Tommy. I mean, we'll tell you what our thoughts and where the action is moving for that game tonight between Washington and Michigan. But let's start off with the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints, TK, 9-8. I thought Jacques Doucet of WAFB had a really good analogy. He said this felt like the 2004 Jim Haslett Saints. It felt like a team that played well when it had nothing to lose and nothing to gain, and they finished. And look, I was wrong. I thought 9-8 would be enough to win the division for the Saints to get into the playoffs. I thought the division was trash enough, and obviously Atlanta and Carolina were. The shocker and the comeback player of the year in the NFL, in my opinion, is Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield led his Tampa Bay Bucks to the division title, third division title in a row for the Bucks, and resurrected his career, and he's going to get a massive payday in the offseason. That I did not see coming. Nobody saw that coming. I thought the Saints for sure would win 10 games this year. They did not, thanks to a groupie missed kick against the Packers, thanks to a blown 17-0 lead in the fourth quarter against the Packers. Packers are in, Saints are out. That's kind of how the cookie crumbles. But this is now 3 years in a row, Tommy, that the Saints have not made the playoffs. You have a $150 million quarterback. Tampa Bay Bucks have a garage sale quarterback, but yet they win the division. Something's got to give. Do you think that with what transpired at the end of the game and the controversy and the fact that obviously Dennis Allen tells his team to take a knee, they say, screw you, we're not going to listen, and they score a touchdown anyway, something like that might be enough to get the attention of the front office to say, hey, we got to blow this up?
Well, it's Gail Benson's decision, but I don't think she's going to make the decision. She's going to do whatever Mickey Loomis, Dennis Flowers could tell her. I think you clearly have to fire Dennis Allen. I mean, second year as a head coach, no playoffs, couldn't get the Raiders over the hump. First time he ever won 9 games in a regular season. And then it's really alarming what happened at the end of that game. And then he gave the wrong answer, Ronnie. When he was approached, he should have said, look, I got to find out what happened. We have some kind of breakdown in communication. I will get to the bottom of it. Instead of saying they should not have done that. I told him to do something there. He threw the team under the bus because every offensive player in the huddle, many of them were quoted after the game saying, we decided to do this. Williams is a key part of our team. We wanted to get him his first ever touchdown. They decided to do it. Totally disrespecting the coach and his wishes. Now, if you don't have the respect of your team in a situation like that, when the game's already won, you can put the W in the scoreboard, on the scoreboard, in the history books. To do that, and at that moment, you didn't know if you were eliminated from the playoffs, okay? You were not technically and at one time, Arizona led Seattle, and at one time, Chicago led Green Bay. So you didn't know it at that moment. If you'd have already known it, maybe a little different, horse there. But I'm just saying, I don't think there's a choice. You cannot bring Dennis Allen back, not just because of what happened at the end of the game and his comments after the game, but the big picture. And then, him throwing the team under the bus may have been a little bit of the icing on the cake.
So are you taking the team side or are you taking the coach's side in this situation?
I'm going to take that's tough. I'm going to take the team side. I mean, they did this for a teammate. They put their teammate first. They wanted Williams to be able to say he scored a touchdown in the NFL. And would forever it be known you scored when you were up 41-17? Yeah, you would know that. I mean, Michael Strahan got a sack. Brett Favre laid down to give him the sack record one time. Nobody remembers that part of it anymore, but his sack numbers were recorded. I'm going to side with the team, but I'm going to follow it up by saying it wasn't right, but the coach shouldn't have threw him under the bus. He could have had a lot of different answers to that question. He was apologizing to Arthur Smith, who, by the way, got fired late last night by the Falcons. He was apologizing to him in the field. I understand. There was a hot mic that caught him saying, I understand. What he meant was, I understand Arthur Smith being mad, okay? So, and at that point, that's okay for him to say that. But the straw that broke the camel's back, throwing the players under the bus, you could have gave a lot better answers. Or you could have said, I got no comment because I got to find out what happened. And they would have left it alone until he then addressed it. He could have come up with something. Many a coach spins something in a different direction at the professional level, at the collegiate level, when something like that goes haywire. Okay,
I blame Derek Carr for the situation, and
you say he should have took charge.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is that they said, Coach, let's get Williams a touchdown. Like, no, we're just going to take a knee. We're not going to rub it in their face. We're going to take a knee, which is what you do in the NFL. That's what you do. When the game is won and you don't need to score and all you can do is take a knee and the clock runs down, you do that. Everybody does it.
Well, and especially against a division opponent who you got to play twice next year. Now, granted, Arthur Smith's not going to be the head coach, but the Falcons, Todd McClure changed his profile picture from the Falcon emblem to Zachary Baseball last night because the team got whipped. So and that's his team. He still bleeds Falcon blood. Okay, no question, rightfully so. So but okay, then team shouldn't have gotten the victory formation. You can take it down that road too. Just line up, turn off. Hey, the old thing, run it between the tackles if you got the big lead. But but a good point was made by Jameis Winston. So if Tyrann Mathieu runs it into the end zone instead of the 1 yard line, is that being disrespectful?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. And by the way, Tyrann Mathieu, how slow is he? My God,
he
got run down by a line.
Well, and it was magnified when Bijan Robinson had that 71-yard touchdown reception. Mathieu had the angle. Okay, he had the angle on him, and they showed the replay several times. He just couldn't get there. Now, he's not a rookie. He's not a second, third-year guy. Okay,
he's an 11-year guy.
Yeah, but it's proof that Father Time's undefeated because the Tyrann Mathieu of 5-6 years ago would have knocked him out of bounds or at least got him to the ground. But he had the angle and couldn't get. Now Robinson's a great running back and going to be one for a while, I think. But yeah, that showed the fact that he had lost at least a step or two. No question about that. Let's see, we lost Ronnie there for a second. We'll get Ronnie back momentarily. While we're waiting on Ronnie, I'll remind you we're here by Court Street Cafe. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, full-service bar right behind me there. Jason and the staff do a super job. Connect with them on Facebook and Instagram. That will be a great way for you to keep up with the lunch specials or the dinner specials. 805 Court Street, just a couple of minutes over the bridge, as we always say. Check out Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. We lost.
So TK, so the Saints situation, they finished 9-8. They play like their best game of the year. They hang 48 on the Falcons, and all for naught. I actually need to send my Venmo request to Casey McKenzie. I want $100 from him because I bet a few weeks ago the Saints weren't going to make the playoffs. It was about a month ago, and he said they would. The Saints finished 9th, by the way. They finished 9th in the NFC. Top 7 teams get into the playoffs. They actually finished 9th. Think about this. The Saints put up 48. Carr's numbers on the year actually were decent. You go 9-8. You have a winning record, which, again, I thought 9-8 3 months ago would have been good enough to win the division and to get in the playoffs. And the Browns and the Texans are in the playoffs. Who'd have thunk it before the season that the Browns and the Texans, particularly the Texans with a rookie quarterback, both those two teams are in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence's injury cost the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're out of the playoffs. And then the probably two of the better, and then the Bills were 6-6 a few weeks ago. Looked like they might not get into the playoffs, and then they win 5 in a row, and now they're a 2 seed. Miami hangs 70 and looks like the best team in football for half the year. They are limping into the playoffs. Not really their fault. It's a mash unit. Everybody and their mama is hurt over there. Even the ones that are playing are hurt. And so now the Ravens look like the best team by far in football. They beat all comers. They look like they've got the answer to everything. It's just been a bizarre year. I mean, it's a bizarre year. What's happened? How about this, Tommy? And we said this the other day. Packers are 0-2. Saints are 2-0. Game 3, it's 17-0 in the fourth quarter. The Packers are questioning, is Jordan Love the answer to their franchise history? Is he the future? They might have made a mistake. They're about to be 0-3. Saints are about to be 3-0. You're 0-3, you're not making the playoffs. You're 3-0, you're making the playoffs. And then the Saints blow a 17-0 lead in the fourth quarter. Then Sean Payton is sitting there waiting for a kicker. Dennis Allen decides, Groupie, Lutz, that's the same guy. Groupie's a little cheaper than Lutz because he's a rookie. This other guy's a veteran. Let's trade Lutz for a 7th-round pick. And Groupie ends up missing the kick against the Packers. That would have won the game, and the Saints would have been in the playoffs. I mean, it's amazing, all the little decisions. And we think about the Packers game, Tommy, but I look back. What about the game against the Jaguars when Foster Moreau dropped a touchdown in the end zone, which would have put the Saints in overtime, right, in the dome? That's a play. There was another game that they lost by 7 where Groupie misses a 29-yard field goal, with 14 minutes to play in the fourth quarter when they're down 1 score. Then they come down. It's because he misses that field goal. Then with 5 minutes to play, they don't kick the short field goal. They go for the touchdown, don't get it. And then later on at the end of the game, on 4th down from the 20, they don't score. So they're, whereas if you just kick field goals in those 3 drives, you'd have won the game, So there's so many woulda, coulda, shouldas. I keep hearing Jim Mora in my ear with the woulda, coulda, shouldas for the Saints this year. Just needed to win one more game, and they had 3 of them that they should have at least won 2 of the 3.
Well, it's just proof that every game matters. Okay, that Green Bay game was in week 3. That's 4 months ago, basically, just a notch under 4 months ago. But it matters and it affected. And the team that you lost to got in. It's not like, so it's just proof that it does matter each and every game. Like Ingram stepping out of bounds years ago. I mean, you got it. It's part of it. By the way, Mayfield got $1 million bonus for winning the NFC South. That was an incentive in his contract. So he got an extra $1 million coming in the automatic deposit tomorrow. But you can always look, those teams that just miss it, Ronnie. You can always look back in the Saints case, all the points you just made. You can always look back and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda, like you said, the famous Jim Mora quote. But no, so I mean, hey, and here's the thing on Groupie. Didn't miss an extra point all year, hit 81% of his field goals. But the thing is that he missed the one that mattered most at Green Bay as we sit here today. Now, had the Saints started 3-0, that doesn't guarantee a playoff spot. But it certainly, the percentages. Everybody does the percentages now, the analytics. If you are 3-0, you're going to be a playoff team. In all likelihood, just that needle in the haystack where you might not be.
It's amazing that, and everybody talks about the Green Bay game because it's just so obvious a turning point. But I mean, look at the way the Packers season swung, and now Jordan Love is the future of that program, and they are believing in him, and he is the guy. You lose that game, you're 0-3. I mean, the confidence he got from leading his team from 17 down in the fourth quarter and how it changed their whole season and put them in the playoffs, gave them the confidence. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, it's the beauty of sports. We don't really know. And you never know when that turning point is. When it happens, you don't know if it's a turning point. You can always look back. And, championship teams look forward. And, wild card weekend coming up this weekend. All the lines are out. It's going to be a fun weekend in the NFL. And some great storylines that are building and going to be fun. Kind of like tonight. A lot of storylines are building tonight, with these NFL jobs opening up and the Harbaugh thing. I mean, wow, they give us and all our friends who have shows a lot to talk about, Ronnie.
NFL coaching jobs already. Today's, Black Monday, they call it. It started last night, but the Falcons fire their coach. The Washington Commanders fire Rivera, their coach. It's expected that Bill Belichick won't be back with the Patriots. It's not official, and they don't expect that they'll trade him. It'll just be a parting of the ways. But everybody expects that Bill Belichick will probably not retire and that he will end up somewhere next year.
He won't retire. He's kind of said that if you read between the lines. I read one article. It's just a guy's opinion up there in the Northeast that covers the Patriots that it's possible that they would hire a general manager. But right now Belichick does it all. He's got like 4 offices with his name on the door. So, but like Bill Belichick said, I heard the quote this morning on the Dan Patrick show when he was asked, he said, "Hey, I'm going to meet with Robert Kraft this week. We do that each and every year. We go over a lot of things, and this year is no different. We're going to meet again, and we'll see what happens." So, he gave a correct answer, unlike Dennis Allen's answer to the situation yesterday. So we'll see what happens with all of that. And then, of course, there's other jobs open. The Raiders only have an interim coach. We'll see. And then the whole Jim Harbaugh story, because that could affect some dominoes at the college level on the coaching carousel as well.
The rumor is just a rumor. I don't know where Bill Belichick would end up. And I mean, obviously things can change. There's even talk that if in fact Bill Belichick is out there, you could possibly see a team that's actually feels like, you might think is trending in the right direction. They may say, you know what, let's go get Bill Belichick and take us to the next level. But San Diego, the Chargers, because of Herbert, the quarterback, is a spot that, people have just kind of milled around that would make sense for him to go because you could plug and play. He doesn't want to go in a rebuild situation. He wants to go somewhere where he could plug and play. Oh, by the way, if you got to be stuck with Carr at quarterback, I wouldn't hate to see him down in New Orleans. That's for sure. All right, so we'll move on. Let's talk national championship game for a minute. The Washington Huskies versus Michigan. This is a super exciting game tonight over in Houston because of the fact you got offense versus defense. Washington's outstanding offense and great offensive line and 10x the quarterback versus the stingy defense of Michigan. So something's got to give, and that's always fun when you got those contrasting styles. It's expected to be Harbaugh's last game as a college coach. Everybody thinks he's going to be going to the NFL next year. He's supposedly holding an offer on the table right now for $12 million a year with Michigan, and he won't sign the contract. So, I mean, that's all you need to know, right? But where's the line at the moment, Tommy, on this game?
It's been bouncing around, Ronnie. 5, 4.5, 5.5 has been moving all over the board. It's changing quite frequently. And then a little bit that depends on where you shop. Go to the ESPN Bet app or go to the casino, to the sports book at LeBear's Casino. And, some guys like waiting on that last minute. You can be at that casino. You can be at a kiosk at LeBear's, or you can be at the window, and they got a thing behind the screen constantly updating the lines, and you can do what you want. I don't think it's enough of a swing. My buddy and Dave used to say, figure out who you think's going to win and just bet the line, whatever it is, plus or minus. But here's the thing. Yesterday, Ronnie, I had a good day in the NFL. I hit the Saints, the Buccaneers, and the Packers. So I'm playing with house money this week. That's not always the case. And I put a bunch of money on Washington on the money line. I got it at plus $1.65. You know me, I like the money line bets because it's value there. So I got it at plus $1.65. I looked this morning, it was plus $1.80. Now, I didn't put out another bet. I'm gonna ride with what I got. But it goes back to those people that like to wait till that final 30 or 20 minutes before the game starts, because most money that's bet on a game like this is going to happen this afternoon between 3 o'clock and kickoff, okay? Even though there's lots of money being bet, tons of money, most of it's going to happen right before, because the professional gamblers wait for the last minute based on the line. The over and under, now that's been riding at 55.5. And that hasn't moved at all. We'll see. Harbaugh, I don't think he's back at Michigan. It's like Pete Carroll knew the hammer was coming down on Southern Cal, so he left for the NFL. Harbaugh knows the hammer's coming down on Michigan. He doesn't know how severe, but it's coming down big time. Could have to vacate a title if they win it. He knows that, so he's going to head off to the NFL. And he wants to close to the people that talk to him a lot have reported that, they see him. Not that he has said it. They see him going to the NFL. Now, if he wasn't going to the NFL, he would have A, signed the contract that you pointed out that's, quote unquote on his desk, or B, he would have said, I'm not leaving Michigan. Now, maybe that's a negotiating tool to tell the NFL team that might be interested in him, say, look, I got $12.5 million sitting on the table here in Ann Arbor. If you give me, 15.5 and whatever, then, we'll talk. So I clearly don't think that next Monday, maybe sooner, when we do Sports Shorts Daily, he won't be the head coach at Michigan.
By the way, I taught my guy that I usually place a little action with +5. So Washington's +5 with him at the moment, and we've seen the line go up to +5.5. It's been hovering at Washington, getting 4.5 points. Now they're getting 5. In some places, you might be able to get that extra hook.
Let's point out the AD of Michigan's a New Orleans guy. Ward Manuel went to Brother Martin, was an All-American high school defensive lineman. Went to Michigan to play football. Some injuries kind of sidetracked his career. He's been the AD for a while, so obviously you got a little New Orleans flavor in play with that decision in Ann Arbor.
Couple quick things, and then we'll get out of here. We'll be back on Wednesday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily presented by LeBear's Casino. Before we get to the last topic of the day, I want to remind you it's not too late. You can get tickets right now at lasportshall.com, lasportshall.com tomorrow night, Tuesday night, the 9th, at LeBear's, 6 o'clock, the doors open, 7 o'clock, the presentation portion begins and the Q&A and everything. Champions of the Diamond, a Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame fundraiser event. Roger Clemens, Dylan Cruz, Skip Bertman, Jay Johnson, on and on and on, a list of stars. Go check it out. Tables and tickets available still at lasportshall.com. You 21 and under is allowed. Under 21 is allowed. Shocker of all shockers, Tommy. And so, all good things must come to an end. For the last year and a half, LSU men's basketball has been a great value. They got Cook back at the guard, the Walker, the Tulane transfer, the former LSU Tiger, the Walker High product. They got him eligible a few games ago. They beat a couple schools you never heard of, but they covered in those games that you never heard of. And then they went on the road. First SEC game LSU basketball did. They went on the road to Texas A&M. They were an 11.5-point dog, and they won by 15. That is a 26.5-point swing. That is tremendous, huge, unthinkable, unheard of. Now, they did the same thing last year. They beat Arkansas at home, who was ranked the first game of the year, and then they were terrible the rest of the season. So we'll see if they kind of just played over their heads one game and come back to reality. But they won on the road when they were 11.5-point dog. They covered for 3 straight games. So now I'm laying off of LSU, but I must sit back and watch. They've got Vanderbilt at home tomorrow night, who Vanderbilt's terrible as a losing record. So they should win that game. They should cover. They should win that game. But we'll wait and see. But right now, LSU basketball shook up the world. 3 weeks ago, they had literally less than 1,000 fans at a game. Tomorrow night should be a big crowd in the pre-mac as people are like a winner. They won on the road against A&M, a team who was 11.5-point favorite, and now they come home to take on a Vandy team that's hot garbage. They should be 2-0. We'll see what happens and talk about it on Wednesday.
A big road win. When you go on the road, opening conference play and win, I don't care if it's A&M. It's big for this team who has played better. Yeah, you're right. And I think the Ron plan, we got to find another Ron plan. Like years ago, we had the Bama football first half score and then road to LSU basketball. We got to find another Ron plan to go with. But, good for them. By the way, the women went on the road against Ole Miss. 15-game winning streak for Kim Mulkey's team, the longest active D1 streak in basketball. And they'll play a very good Texas A&M team at the PMAC Thursday night.
All right. For Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance, please like and share this video. Be back on Wednesday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily. Don't forget, go to lasportshall.com, get your tickets. We'll see you tomorrow night at the Champions of the Diamond. Until then, have a great one, everybody.